So the new Mac devices that were announced by Apple, they go beyond just a simple refresh of the product portfolio. The M1 chip is also a reinvention of how the devices are designed from within. And what it does, maybe this time, we haven't seen much in terms of a facelift to the devices, but because of the new architecture, you might start to see new devices being or Apple having a little bit more flexibility on how they can design the exterior of the products. Now, of course, the other very important item to keep in mind is that with the M1 chip and the new technology, Apple is able to deliver a lot more speed with a lot less power usage. And that is going to be most likely a very big deal for Apple device users. This event is important for Apple, again, not only because of the new devices that got unveiled, but also because of the whole new architecture that Apple is going to use for the Macs, for all the devices to be announced over the next, let's say, 2 years or so. So it's important because it gives Apple flexibility in terms of what they can deliver, not only on the hardware, but also on the software side. And then also it could be from a financial perspective, it could provide incentive for Apple users to upgrade their devices from the old architecture to the new Apple Silicon architecture. Investors might not see the impact of the new products right away. In my opinion, I think the new devices, as well as the whole shift of the architecture to Apple-based silicon, is probably going to be felt over time. And you see that not only with potentially a little bit more demand for Macs in the future, but also maybe a shift in margins, because now that Apple is basically producing everything in-house, they might be able to cut on costs and maybe play a little bit with the margins. That could be a positive for investors, but not something that will be evident in the next quarter. So it might be more of a 1 to 2 year kind of time frame. So what the new architecture really means is that Apple is able to combine a lot of different features that in the past, in previous models, were more scattered. So you had the CPU, you had the GPU, you had security chips, and all of those things were individual pieces or components inside the device. And now everything is kind of combined within the M1 chip. And that gives a lot of flexibility for Apple because it basically simplifies the internal design, allows for more power efficiency, and for better performance of the device itself. So with the announcement of the new Macs, Apple has basically reinforced the idea that they will continue to introduce new products at different price points potentially, which I believe is a bullish narrative for the stock over the long run. However, I would warn investors to think a little bit about the short-term risks as well, because Apple, the stock, has been up strongly in the past 2 years. And with the developments, the recent developments regarding a COVID-19 vaccine and the results of the election, you might start to see investors shift a little bit their preference away from growth and technology stocks and towards the more cyclical stocks, which would not bode well for Apple in the short run. So in my opinion, I think Apple still looks like a very good investment for the long run, but I would not ignore the short-term pitfalls.